So the topic of today is shading nodes, and before we get into that, I will load the default factory settings. So I have a similar setup of what you have. Then I go to my preferences to change the theme, because I so much hate gray themes. Not gray as a person, of course, but the theme. So I go to my themes and I select my theme. So now I have something similar than you have. Well, like in order to make a material, we have to go to the node shader, which is in the shading workspace. And as soon we click that, we see four screens. This one is the normal 3D viewport, and here down here we see the nodes, and there's already a default shader loaded, the principal shader, which we will use the most. Here you see that we are currently looking at the shader for the object, being the cube here. We also see that we see a default background, so there is also already some lighting in the background which we need to actually bake and see something when we are in render mode. We go now to render mode, we don't see that much, it's all gray. So let's take a look at what we actually see here. First of all, if I go here into object mode, object lighting, we see a cube of a white color, a light and a camera. We see a gray background. Where are these things coming from? If we look here at the scene viewport shading options, we see that the lighting section says use the scene lights, which is the lamp, and use the scene world lighting. So there are two lights used in this scene. This one, the lamp, and the one in the world, which is here. You can find here. And this one says use a background which is gray. So there is light, well, you could say actually no light because it's all gray coming from the background. And that's why you see here a gray background. If I would turn this off, the scene world, or let's start with the scene light, turn off the scene lights, then only the light from the background is used, and that's why you see a gray cube. If I turn this off also, then you suddenly see a default lighting, which we will use for now in the rest of this video. Okay, now in order to make like gold, I want to make gold. I return to the object properties. And we have to make some gold. Now let's first look at what these procedural textures actually are. So if I want to add a texture, I can pick between a lot of different ones, and the ones used most, well, Musgrave is used a lot. Let's look at Musgrave.
Yeah,
I don't know if you ever looked at them. You can put that just in the base color.
Mm-hmm.
Now you see at the cube what is going on, yeah?
Yeah.
We have some kind of Dutch cow pattern.
Yeah.
I can change the scale.
Mm-hmm.
Turn it up, then I get very little spots, yeah? I can change the detail. It doesn't do much here at this scale, but it gets a little bit blurry. Huh?
Yeah.
Here it gets more cloudy. I can turn the dimension higher, so this gets way more dusty.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Yeah?
Reduce it down, it gets
Those are the
much
most
more
important
fractured.
ones.
Yeah.
So we have another texture which is the Voronoi.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of looks like this.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if you know what the Voronoi actually is, but well,
Reminds me of plant cells.
yeah, it
Cell
kind of looks like a cell structure. Yeah.
cell formation. Yeah.
You have different types here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in order to kind of change the less white and that you see maybe more black,
Mm-hmm.
then you have to put in something between that you can influence that. Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
About a
one that is often used is color ramp.
yeah, the old color ramp. When
Here,
all else fails.
and
Yeah.
here you can influence the black and white.
Love the color ramp.
You see that? So we
Mm-hmm.
can turn it more white or more black. Yeah. And what you also can influence is the way it transitions between the black and the white. You can ease that.
Yes.
You can make it very hard with constant.
Mm-hmm.
You see the differences?
Oh yeah.
There is no transition between the black and the white.
Yeah.
So depending on what you're trying to make, and here you can see you have a 3D and a 4D. 4D doesn't do much. But the only, this 2D is now just lines, yeah?
Yeah.
The only way,
Look up on top of it. Look on top of the
hmm?
look on top of the object.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea, yeah.
It drags it
That's
down.
because it's a 2D. So there
It's
is,
only 2D.
yeah.
Very good.
So if you're 3D, then you get them
Yeah.
on all sides.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what 4D actually is, but well, never used 4D.
Mm.
Because we don't have 4D in this world.
Maybe not.
So the difficult thing about this is to predict what will happen. And that
Yeah.
means you have to play with it a lot and
Play.
actually look at what other people do.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the word play. Some people use the word experiment, but that sounds so scientific, you know.
Yeah, actually it's play.
Mhm.
This is a,
And you and
yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong. You can actually mix those two, can you not? Mix the Musgrave
of course you could,
and Voronoi.
you can mix them in all kind of ways.
Yeah. I mean, mix the two of them together. Yeah.
We'll come to that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Here we have the noise.
Noise.
Noise is just plain noise.
Oh, just noise.
Same with most of it, you can turn up the scale, you get way more noise, you see. it's very high in the hundreds. If I zoom in here and I play with the roughness.
Yeah, get that fractorial effect, or
So you can use this to generate sand, or dust.
moss maybe.
And there is some other way to play with them. You can also, first of all, of course, you can just combine them, yes, like with a color, mix two of them together.
Yeah.
You can do that,
Sure.
but you can also use one to influence the other.
Mm-hmm.
So I put this one here. No, let's put it here. First and then here, then this one here. I will delete this one.
You missed the connection there. Yeah. There you go.
And now I use this one here to influence the scale.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is a noise thing, yeah? So it will influence the scale not with one number, but for every point it will influence the scale of the Musgrave texture.
Mm-hmm.
And now you
High
see,
scale. Yeah.
let's turn this. You get some strange effect here.
Well, this is part of our playing around. Yeah.
You get it here on the side. Well, I don't use these very much, so it's very hard for me to predict what will happen. You can also turn this around, probably. I can use this one to put in here in the scale. And put this one here.
Yeah. There you go.
What happens? What happens?
You gotta lower your white. Yeah, there you go. Bump up your black a little bit. Oh, ho, looky there. Psychedelic. Looks like tie-dye almost. Yeah.
This is starting to look like a tree trunk thing, yeah?
Oh, yeah, possibly. Water, maybe? Water if you put in certain colors. Yeah, that is nice. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, that. There you go. Now that-
yeah, here we have, what do we have
There.
here? Here
You
I
have
think I see a plaster wall.
Yeah, or tarnish. You might have some rust, or yeah, it looks like a mossy. Could
Yeah,
be
well,
mossy.
so no, that kind of you
Lichen?
can all do all kind of stuff with it because you can use this of course to give it a color, yeah,
Yeah,
any
sure
color you
can.
like. So
Put a
instead,
color in there.
so let's try to do that. We have now a
Let's
pattern,
put a color in there. See what
and we
that
put
does.
the color in there.
Okay, let's do that.
Color.
Color
Well, color.
mix
We can mix a color.
RGB curves.
We have no.
Nope.
We have not. Well, of course, we have one that is an input one. An input is a RGB.
Oh, RGB. Yeah.
Yeah. So input, that means actually this input are all like how do I say this? This is defined input, yeah? It's already made somewhere, or you have to make it yourself. So it is a single value often, or a vector or whatever, in this case a color, which we can use to put in here. But we have, of course, to mix that color with a mixer.
Right.
So now we can go to color,
Or
mix
yeah.
color. I put it in here. Put this one here. Put this one.
Answer Cameo's question there, Kai.
Okay, I didn't see it yet. So,
I'm
and that
sorry.
was done just by changing the noise level. Yeah, that was done by just changing the noise level. So you use here the Musgrave texture to influence the noise texture, and you can play with both. Yeah, you see, moving the noise texture has less influence than moving the scale of this one.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but okay, and the detail of this one has a lot of influence on the. This kind of distorts it. Yeah, makes it rougher. The detail, dimension also.
Yeah.
Scale
See
just
there.
bumps it up.
See,
So you can imagine that
it's very subtle.
you can generate different plasters very fast this way.
Yeah, yeah. Put a little green tint on that, if you would, please.
No, how do we mix these? Oh, we just mix them.
Yeah, just kind of bring. There we go. Look
Make
at
it
that.
a
Oh,
little
that's
bit
pretty green.
darker.
Yeah. Oh, there we go. That's kind of muted.
Well, this is a typical Tuscany or Caribbean kind of
Oh,
green.
look at that. Yes, beautiful, beautiful.
I can make it a little bit darker here or lighter. So probably we have to bring them a little bit closer together.
Yeah, and somebody said earlier it takes time, and that's right. I use up. I don't want to say I waste time, but I will use up hours of time just experimenting or playing with these to see what possibilities I can get. Yeah, and that's what it takes.
Yeah, you know, and when I remember back, I went to these texture shops in Second Life, and we were buying all these textures. And then we bought the same texture over and over with different colors. Now you see you can generate them on almost on the fly. Once you have this, you can change it very easily.
That's right. We slap our forehead and say, "Why are we buying this?
Plus,
we can make it."
Plus, they are like seamless. Probably this one is seamless, and I can output them in any scale. Yeah.
Right. You have control over it.
The only downside of this is because it's generated, it needs performance of your system. Yeah. So if you have a lot of them, and you have also more complex ones, changing them will impact your rendering, of course.
Right. And the nice thing is that these can be saved and put in your material asset.
Hang on.
Your asset library. Kai, let me ask this question. Have you gone, in this class, have you gone into working with the asset library? Have you gone over that?
Not so much yet. I showed you last time how to save one of these.
Yeah, right, you did.
But how the asset library exactly works, we didn't address yet.
And how to organize it to where you can find your things when you need them.
No.
Okay.
I don't know
That
if
may come up.
I will show you how to save things, but how it's in the notes, I think.
Okay.
But how it exactly works, yes, at the library, how to set it up, no. But I
Okay.
could, if there is a need.
Well, I don't know that if there's a need or not. Just wondered if we had done it.
Okay, we have now color. And if we look in the renderer, it's well, it's still flat, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And you can imagine if you think plaster or painted, or this is maybe paint over a wall, that the green would be a little more shiny than the white part, which is damaged. Yeah, where the paint is missing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we could do that. We could use this as roughness for your material.
Sure. Sure.
So I can
No.
put this one here, which is black and white,
Mm-hmm.
into the roughness. And I turn the specular down. And I would also like to use this as a bump map. So I add a new one, and I search for bump.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And put that here, and put this one as a normal map.
Mm-hmm.
No, sorry. This actually is the height map, yeah? This
Yeah.
is sorry. This has to be the height map.
Mm-hmm.
And now you see something like a height map.
I do.
Then turn down the strength, something, and I put this in as a normal factor.
Here we go.
If I look at this normal map, it looks like this. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I can still influence it. I can make it less influence. Or I could also influence this one here. It's coming straight into the roughness. This has to be shiny, yeah? So this has to be white, and this has to be darker. That's the idea, yeah?
Uh-huh.
And if I look at this map here, this is rough,
Mm-hmm.
shiny. Is that correct? Shiny. Yeah, that's correct, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I have to flip them if I want it the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to flip these two. You understand that?
Yes.
So
And what's the shortcut key for that?
there's no shortcut key. That means I have to put in another color ramp.
Oh, I thought you could shift, or I thought you
And I
could
put it in
just
here.
use the key to do it.
No, I just switch these.
There we go.
I can bring them closer together than I would something like this. Or I could, whatever, I can put this one into the specular map. I even can play around with it and put this one in the roughness and the other one and change it into in the specular map. With this kind of material, we don't see much now. So now we've made the material.
Yeah.
Well, we made the material in Blender. We don't have the textures.
No.
No, we don't have the textures.
Nope. Just in Blender, and you could take a render of it. You could take if you're creating a scene, you could make it look like that.
Well, actually, I would like to save the normal map, the specular map, and the color map in 3 different textures now. For that, I have to bake them, yeah. I can't just. No, yeah, I can't make a picture of this and then save it. No, I want the 3 different textures separately. I want to then I have to bake them. Okay, let's make some gold.
Oh yeah, let's make some gold.
No.
We need straw first. Oh no, wait a minute. Reverting back to my
Let's throw this all away. We don't need this for now.
Where's
So
Rumpelstiltskin when you need him?
Yeah, exactly.
what?
Rumpelstiltskin. He made gold out of straw or hay.
Gold. No, well, first of all, gold is a metal, yeah?
Last I checked, yes.
So, what do we do?
We'll have to bump up that metallic.
We make it our
Down with the
material
roughness.
metallic.
Down with the roughness.
And gold has a color.
Yellowy colour.
Yeah, it
a
has kind of
color.
a goldy color.
Now, in this case, yeah, let's first try this. We have an input and we have a color.
Sure.
And we can use a value for this color. Yeah?
We could.
So, who knows the value for gold?
It's like CA321, I think.
I think it's B2 93 D2.
There we go.
That seems good.
You know, that's pretty close, I'll tell you. That looks
You can
like
look that
gold.
up, of course. If you go just to the internet and say, what's the hex? That you know what hex values are?
Yeah,
You know that?
sure.
What's the hex value?
Takes.
A hexadecimal number. So we have to sneeze. Hold on. Almost sneezed. Well, there are several ways. I know if you know this, Gray or somebody else. Yeah, there are several ways to put in color values. You just can put in the red, green, and blue values. That's a range between 0 and 1. If you look up color values on the internet, usually they're listed in hexadecimal values, which are also 3 values for
Right.
red, green, and blue. It's kind of the same system, but done in the hexadecimal numbers. And I looked this up. And we put this color here in the base color.
Oh, looky there.
And we have kind of... Oh, is it shiny?
Might need to bring the roughness down a little bit, maybe.
Well, not now.
Maybe.
Let's see. Let's go back to our world settings. So we have chosen here this this image here. And we chosen, I think, this one, nature, but what happens if we pick this one here? It kind of looks different already.
Changes the lighting a little bit.
Okay.
But in the object,
Object.
pull down the roughness a little bit.
What I saw a lot of people do, they do it a different way, and that is they put in a color ramp.
Okay.
Search color ramp, and then they use the value of gold here in the black.
Yeah.
So that's B0293. I have to look at my sheet 2D. You put that in
There
here.
you go.
And they put in front of this something that is called layer weight.
Layer weight.
And they put in the facing value into the vector here. And this is going to be black. Black is 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
There we go.
Let's put this in here.
Okay.
So it's changed slightly.
Yeah, it did.
This is what a lot of people do, and you can change. You see how if you
The
have
influence.
blackness here at the bottom.
Yeah.
This is more a render thing. What shows up on your screen, and not so much when you bake them.
Kai,
Yeah.
just for my curiosity, do you see in the principled BSDF shader? Pull down the roughness down to about a third of the way down. There we go.
Now it's very shiny, eh?
We got that polished gold. Yeah. That's 24 karat right there.
So you see the HDRI being reflected
Right.
into the
See the warehouse now.
gold cube here.
Yeah.
And if you don't like the result, you just change the
Let's
lock,
change it.
change it to something
Let's
else.
go outside. Yeah, let's go outside. Check that out. There we go.
And of course, this will influence your baking also.
Sure.
But you have to remember that you also
You
use
have
in Second Life an environment light, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So meaning actually if you have a very, how we call it, specific lighting in Blender, you're gonna mix it with the one in Second Life. Which of course you don't know, because any object you make or texture you make can be placed in any kind of environment. So this has to be kind of neutral, yeah, like studio lights, kind of white light is probably the best type of light you can use in Blender and for your bakes, yeah, so that it doesn't influence the environment lighting in Second Life too much. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. It's important to remember. Otherwise you maybe get very strange combinations. So we have a color. This you can either use this one or this one, the one you like best. Yeah, This one
Right.
kind of influence the way it looks and reflects also on the sides of how it looks in Blender.
Yeah.
Um,
I always like the color ramp. I use it quite a bit. I like the, I don't know, maybe I'm a control
you don't know
freak
why.
or something.
You don't know why.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we need some. Now this is very flat. This maybe too. Let's make it a little bit damaged.
Yeah, it's a little perfect. I mean, sometimes you look at gold, it depends on how it's minted. It has a little bit of little texture on the
Texture.
surface. Yeah.
I will put in a wave texture.
Wave texture. Okay, that's interesting choice.
And I will put in a Musgrave texture.
Okay, Musgrave. Yeah.
And this one I put around 1.6. And then I put it into the scale of this wave.
Mm-hmm.
What do we get?
Oh my goodness.
We get something like this.
Yeah, you have to change that.
Yeah, and
scale.
then you might think, well, that is kind of looks funny for a gold.
Kind of weird. Yeah.
For a gold
Kind of
structure.
odd for gold. Yeah.
I will bump this up 2.5, 2.5, something like this. And the roughness, no, like this. Oh, what did I do? 6.7. If I play with this 6.7, this down.
Oh, look at that. No.
13. I played with this and I found these numbers there.
Yeah.
I thought this is kind of nice
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
for gold. Not too much. I just like this pattern. Yeah, old gold, which was, a lamp in attics, which got moved around a lot and got damaged a little.
Yeah. Yeah. Old gold artifacts would pick that up. Yeah.
So-
not refined gold bricks or anything like that. Yeah.
We put in a color ramp in here.
Oh, don't forget the color ramp. Yeah.
Did I do ease? I switch these around. And I put this one into the roughness.
Yeah, that's what I was going to suggest, but you got it. Oh la la.
It's still metal, yeah?
It's very metal.
Is it too shiny?
It's pretty shiny. I would dull it down a little bit, personally.
Hard to see when it's standing still, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Now let's do the bumping. For the bumping, I make a copy of this one,
Okay.
and then put it in here, and I need a bump map, a bump node.
Mhm.
Search bump.
There we go.
Put the bump into the height. Turn this down and put this in here in the normal.
Oh, that little damage.
Not too much. It's too shiny, I think.
Yeah, it's still very shiny.
So it should be rougher. Now it gets more black. Gold, actually. Well, you know, if you play around with this, I'm making an example. So I put this on a monkey hat.
Yeah,
First of all, we name it in gold, yeah?
let's do that.
We have no
Keep it
gold.
simple. Yeah.
Just delete, well, let's be careful not to delete it too fast. Let's use a mesh monkey.
Mm-hmm.
And let's this one,
There she is.
gold monkey.
Mm-hmm.
And then give this some more smoothness.
Yeah. Shade smooth.
And we shade smooth.
Mm-hmm.
We shade smooth. So we go to Q, shade smooth.
Shade smooth. There we go. Oh la la. A gold monkey head. Love it.
Of course, no, yeah, but the rest is personal preference if you want to make it rougher or not. Yeah?
Oh, it's all about personal preference. That's for sure.
Let's look at some end results. We have here something that already finished. We have 3 monkey heads.
This, it's almost as if you prepared for this class.
Yeah, it's sometimes that's expected of us teachers that we actually prepare something. Yeah. I just made some kind of gold background and
Oh,
3
yes, you
heads,
did. Look at
and I made gold, silver, and bronze, and they all slightly different,
that. Yeah.
but they're based on the same principles, same kind of textures. Here, the bronze one, you see, I also used just a noise texture.
Mm-hmm.
The silver, the noise and the wave texture. This is also a musgrave and a wave texture.
Mm-hmm.
You put in your color here. You can give these notes, you can give a name.
Oh yeah.
So I put in the silver value in here,
Right.
and if you go to the properties tab, you can name them
Mm-hmm.
any way you like. You just put in here a label, silver, and then
Right.
it will show up here. So that's how I even give it the color of silver. Yeah,
Well,
in here.
look
I color the notes.
Yeah.
You can color the notes yourself.
Yeah.
This is
looks
the
like you-
default color, but you can
Yeah,
also
so
make your own color scheme. So you can make
Oh.
here a list of colors you often use
Oh my.
for these notes, and then
Is Blender amazing or what?
yeah. And here for the silver, I put in just a value of roughness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you should also see here, I didn't use this principal shader, but well, I did, but sorry.
Yeah, but you changed it.
No, I didn't change it. Control H. I was hiding all the fields which weren't used.
Unused, yeah.
So I've here.
How do you do that? What's the key for that?
Control H.
Control H. Control H. Okay.
Sometimes they get very, big.
Yeah. Yeah. Why have all those out there if you're not using them? That's my motto.
Let's push the F12.
F12.
And you see it's starting to render. I have the render value all the way up to 1000.
Oh my goodness, you must have a fantastic computer.
And now we see here the monkey heads.
That.
Plus its reflection in the gold
yeah.
material.
Oh, yeah, you gotta have reflection.
Down below.
Oh, excuse me. No, I'm not bored. Sorry.
Yeah. This is the basics of it. Now, of course, in the sheets you can also, look up some other values. We have here this value of the subsurface index of refraction.
Mm-hmm.
That is more like how the light is scattered over the surface of this object. And each material has different values. I placed some of the most common values in the spreadsheet, in the sheets. You can put that in here. There is, but that only influences the way Blender will show your material now.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't do much for your baking. It does actually nothing for your baking.
Okay.
So if you're gonna render out scenes in Blender, then this has some influence on the gold or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But for baking textures for Second Life, you don't need that.
Yeah. Well, now a true question. I don't know the answer to this. If you move the items closer together, will that affect the reflection? I mean, will you be able to? Does that influence?
Well, I think this one here, the gold is the most reflective.
Uh-huh. Whoops. What happened? Oh, okay. You went solid. Okay. All right.
So let's try this.
Let's see what happens there.
Gary, here is your reminder.
Oh.
Not to talk about
Alexa, cancel.
Oh, you're well. So what is your question? Now you see the head of the silver head here reflected in the gold head.
Yeah. Okay. It does. Looks like it does influence it a little bit. Yeah.
It doesn't actually influence the reflection, but well, how do you mean influence the reflection? It's still reflected. It reflected anything what is in the in the surroundings.
Yeah, but would seem like, and this is an advanced kind of question, it would seem like the light emanating, the reflective light off of the silver would kind of make the gold side over there, the gold.
Well, of course, maybe with gold, because it has a color, you will see it less.
Maybe. Yeah, you see, I see the reflection. Yeah, I see the reflection, but see the gold doesn't seem to.
Well, this is I made the gold more reflected than the silver. This is more like diffuse. But you see here of course, that, well, you see the reflection. Does that change?
Oh, no, I do see a little bit of the gold influence on there.
The
Yeah.
gold, of course, doesn't emit any light. Yeah, so it can't, like a lamp. If you have a lamp with a gold color, it emits gold light, yellow light.
Oh,
yeah?
oh, yeah, yeah. No, I'm
And
not.
then
I'm
the
not saying-
silver will reflect
Yeah.
yellow light, but the gold doesn't emit light.
No, I'm not talking about emission or, yeah, illuminate. Yeah, emission, I guess what it would be called. My question sprang from IOR comment. If you bump that IOR up, how
No,
does
well,
that influence the light?
when we change this,
Uh-huh.
this one means is how the light scatters in the material or across the surface. So the scattering of light you see way better in fluid substances than in
Yep.
hard like this. But if you would change this, well, change, it's very hard to notice anything, yeah?
Yeah, there's
Turn
not
it
a
all
lot
the way
of
down.
differences there. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I was just thinking out loud. I need to do more of this practice and this
It-
play on my own.
It depends on the
Okay.
material, what it is, and on the shader you
Yeah.
use also.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't mean to distract.
And I know less of this because like I said, you don't need this for Second Life, and I almost never make renders with Blender. It's nice,
Yeah.
but let's say Mid Journey is easier to make a nice picture.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. No, that you're right. Render. It's for those nuts that do all the rendering.
Yeah, or if you
scene
make
creation.
movie scenes and that stuff, then
Yeah.
it gets very important.
Yeah, right.
But I never actually used it.
No, we don't want to associate with that riffraff. We're hard surface modelers. Yeah.
I don't know if you can call it that way, Gray. Riff raff. Maybe we're just too stupid to do it.
Well, I would recall it. I would prefer to be called just elitist, not stupid.
Anyway, let me think if I forget something, because we don't want to forget something. No. Actually, if we want to use this gold, yeah, then we have to bake it out, yeah. So that's what you see here. I have here the textures for the baking already
There's
placed.
all the gold right there.
So there's the gold diffuse and the gold metal map, the roughness map, and a normal map.
Mm-hmm.
We have to bake now. But not today.
Not today. Sorry, no baking today. The oven is turned off.
This is just kind of the beginning of procedural textures to give you an idea maybe how complex it is to make them. This is a simple kind of noise distortion type of texture, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Of course you could, let's go back to the other.
Well, I think it was a beautiful introduction to procedural material. I mean,
Here we have our distortion, yeah,
oh yeah,
or our pattern.
yeah, the wave texture. Uh-huh.
But of course I can use a brick texture, yeah,
Sure you could.
texture.
Up top.
at the top,
Yeah, there you go.
and
Yeah,
I put this texture in here for now.
oh sure.
No. Let's just use this, yeah.
There you go.
So here
Oh,
we
look
have
at-
the brick texture
Look at Suzanne. She's got
of
all
Suzanne
bricky.
projected, yeah.
Yeah.
The idea of these are that one will influence the other, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
So we can distort these textures. So no brick actually has these straight lines, yeah?
No way.
So if I would put in this Musgrave texture into the scale, then you see that the brick texture is totally lost, yeah?
Right. Interesting.
If I put in the brick texture into the scale here, then you see
And you get something
Still.
different.
you see the
Yeah.
and now you suddenly see, well, hey, I can make the structure of the bricks. So if I play with this one, so this one, the first one, is actually the most influencing factor, yeah? It still looks
Right.
like brick. And this one is used, the second one, to distort the brick texture.
Mm-hmm. The node tree reads left to right.
Yeah? So you
Yeah.
can give the brick texture here structure.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
And here we can influence the
Yeah.
amount of the bricks.
Make that mortar line real thin, even. Or non-existent.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Look at that.
And that's how you play with these things.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult.
Yeah. Remember, you can hold down your shift key to manipulate that slider.
All kind of effects you can make. But that's the only thing that you have to remember for now is, okay, so this one is this is the way it will look, this one is you use to distort it any way you like. You can try different patterns here to distort this one. And then you can use that same to use, you can use any other combination to generate colors or color differences also, of course. And that's how you build it up. And then the only thing you do is connect the three different ones. You use that one to also to create your bump map and to create your roughness. That's how it basically works.
Yes, indeed.
Let's see if there are any questions. No, not in text. Any questions before I get to my dinner? Is this useful? Did it
Is it
gives you any inspiration to make something?
Is it useful? I think it's a great. I think it's a great start on.
Of course, you need some imagination. You need to look at something like a cloth, and you need to see a brick in cloth. If I would bump up the scale of this very much.
Yeah. Then you get a different look.
Then you get a
Altogether.
totally different look, of course.
It's not brick at all.
So you have to first see the basic pattern in something and then saying, oh, I can use a brick texture for this to play around with it. Yeah?
Look at that. Look at that. So now it takes on somewhat of a noise feature. Only in bricks.
No, of course, a totally different gold with all these little bumps in it.
Yeah, little defects. Yeah, little imperfections. Mm-hmm.
Whatever you like.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Kai. This was very enlightening. Very enlightening.
Good. Okay, I will work on the recording and let's see if I will upload this. Thank you for being here and hanging in.
You bet.
Stop recording, Kai.